Drag with Remedy. Ballyhoo and welcome. This passion project is the next best thing to a warm hug. My name is Remedy Robinson. I'm a linguist, author, and ardent fan. And this is an appreciation. This is an exploration of linguistics, language, and how to tell the future as framed by the peerless poetry of the modern-day master, Elvis Costello. Today's slow drag is with Satellite from Spike, released in 1989. The songwriting is credited to Elvis Costello's birth name. It's another sterling example of Mr. Costello's ability to observe both sides of a given situation. He does so without a hint of judgment, sexism, or condescension. The imageries that he pulls out draws you deep into the world that he creates. She looked like she learned to dance from a series of still pictures. She's madly excited now. She throws her hands up like a tulip. She looks like an illustration of a cocktail party where cartoon bubbles burst in the air. Champagne rolls off her tongue like a second language. And it should have been her biggest night. The satellite looks down on her as she begins to cry. With an abundance of consonants, notably the S sound and the L sound. This verse doesn't rely on end rhymes so much as it creates a twinkling twilight feel instead. The she in question is described perfectly, stiff and shy. Her hands are tulips. The cocktail, the cartoon, and the champagne, they spill together to further augment the scene. All these images combine to create a vivid mindscape as it dovetails into the other side of a night that should have been so big for her. The entire world is watching her every gesture. All over the world at the very same time, people sharing the same sorrow. As a satellite looks down, her darkest hour is somebody's bright tomorrow. As mentioned, this piece was written around 1989, 27 years after Relay 1 satellite, the first geosynchronous satellite, was launched, and 12 years after the first satellite dish for personal use was placed in a backyard on September 14, 1976. And it was 2 years before the World Wide Web went live on August 6, 1991. To synchronize the smaller distances as well as the larger distances between us is sheer brilliance. He pulled on a cigarette in the crook of his first finger, felt the static electric charge of her perfect hourglass figure. As he undressed her with his eyes, her weakness was his talent. How could she know as she stepped through the lights that her dress would become transparent? And with his face pressed to the screen, he muttered words he'd never dare to say if she could see him. The beautiful S and L sounds in the first verse shift to C and F sounds in this verse, giving time to what happens on the other end of the transmission that should have been her biggest night. Keeping her modesty safe, there is no mention in the first verse of how her dress becomes transparent. Rather, we are now privy to the reaction it elicits from a comfortable distance away in this verse. The muttered words he'd never dare to say if she could see him has gone on to be quite the familiar occurrence these days. All over the world at the very same time, people sharing the same cheap sensation, the thrill of watching somebody watching those forbidden things we never mention. The satellite looks down right now and forever. What it is pulled apart Let no man tether his own body to his dream. His dream is someone else. Oh no, oh no. Changed from the first chorus of sharing the same sorrow, it's now sharing the same cheap sensation. A bright tomorrow is shifted to the forbidden things we are never supposed to mention. Sorrow and tomorrow in the first chorus, sensation and mention in the second. A few tweaks of language, and the simple becomes the sinister. She went back to a pitiful compromise. He'd go back to his family. But for the matter of 1,000 miles that separated them entirely, then the hot unloving spotlight with the secret it arouses. Now they both know what it's like inside a pornographer's trousers. And in a funny way, it's anonymous. The satellite, it blesses us and makes these dreams come true. With so many of Mr. Costello's pieces, such as Georgie and Her Rival and My Mood Swings, Satellite narrates the story from both sides, bringing them together at the end. Notice that, as their stories mingle, this third verse combines many of the sounds set forth yet are separated in the first two verses, the S and the L, T and the F. A pitiful compromise, the 1,000 miles that separated them entirely. We're told that now they both know what it's like inside a pornographer's trousers, as the fame that she hoped for turned into a different sort of viral fame. This invention, as we see, makes all of our dreams come true. This is both hopeful and oh so wonderfully sinister. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the unintended, or perhaps the skillfully intended, the secrets it arouses. All over the world at the very same time, all over the world. The satellite looks down right now and forever. What it has pulled apart, let no man tether his own body to his dream. His dream is someone else. Oh no, oh no. In the May 1989 issue of Spin magazine, Mr. Costello had this to say about Satellite. I suppose as you get a bit more experience, you start to be able to get like a song like Satellite, where it's a very big story, and like a writer that writes a story would do an outline, you start to become more aware of the technical limitations of songs, and then willfully go ahead and try to put something into the song which really is too big to be in the song. But I think it's worth the risk because if you put enough information and enough images in to tell the story to your own satisfaction, a listener, one that's prepared to listen for 6 minutes, but there aren't too many, can get the whole story. It's all there to be put together. Or they can make an even better story out of it because they've got their own imagination. Dig it. Again, this has been a slow drag with Satellite from 1989's Spike. It's a song that's ahead of its time in both subject matter and how so many of his future songs will go on to not be hemmed in by time or by those with small imaginations. Satellite is a stunning piece full of bittersweet imagery that continues to resonate all these years later. And that's it for today's slow drag, my friend. Wasn't it amazing? Elvis Costello is a true genius. I encourage you to re-listen to episode 10 of Slow Drag with Remedy, If Killing Anybody is a Terrible Crime. It's a slow drag with Let Him Dangle, another level-headed gem from Spike. Please email questions and comments to slowdragwithremedy@gmail.com and follow us on Twitter at slowdragremedy. There's a companion blog where you can find transcripts and references included in each episode. It's not the prettiest site yet, but it's functional. As they say, everyone has a podcast, and I'm proud to say that this one's mine. So please give us a favorable rating and a review. Tell your friends and retweet us on Twitter. Thank you for listening and for getting the word out about this little passion project. It means the world. So, until next time, adieu, my little ballyhoo. Slow drag with